The narrative surrounding Trae Young coming into the season was mainly around the rule changes that the NBA implemented. And what were those rules? Well, basically, there were rules that were set in place to stop players like Trae Young and James Harden from manipulating the defenses and refs to get foul calls. Most people like to call it foul baiting. And coming into the season, many expected Trae to struggle, and some even called for him a fraud of a scorer and getting names like the foul merchant. But by now, Trae has built all of those criticisms to bed, with him playing the best basketball of his career right now, and with other stars still struggling to adjust like a James Harden and Damian Lillard. Although Dame is somewhat coming back to form, it prompts the question, where does Trae Young rank currently in the NBA? Well, that's what I'm going to try to answer, but before that, y'all already know the drill. Just go ahead and hit that like button, as it will help out my channel a lot, and it helps YouTube's algorithm to put out my videos a lot more frequently. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new and turn on your post notifications to never miss any of my uploads. So if you're frequently watching, just sub up and help your boy out. And lastly, leave your takes down below and comment what other videos y'all would like to see, as I try to respond to every comment. With that being said, let's just get straight into the video. So before I start, I want to touch upon where most people do actually rank him in the league. I think the consensus is that he's right around the top 15-ish tier, where you're knocking on the door of being a top 10 player and you're right on that line of superstardom. And keep in mind, that's about where generally most people would place him at. Now for me, I'll just go out and say it. I think Trae is, at this point, a top 10 player in the league. And really, that shouldn't be that much of a shocker. Putting my Hawks bias and Trae Young bias aside, I truly believe that. Now, I don't know exactly who I would put in my top 15, so I'll treat it more like a tier. And keep in mind that this is with everybody fully healthy. So players I would say that would be in that tier would include guys like Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, and Donovan Mitchell. Now to me, Trae is better than guys like Book and Mitchell, mainly because of the playmaking gap. When it comes to scoring, they're all in a pretty similar tier. And heck, I could argue that Trae is even better at scoring than those two guys, due to his efficiency and volume, as if he's had a true shooting of near 60% ever since his rookie year. So if Trae is already right there with both Book and Mitchell when it comes to scoring, which is their best skill set, and the gap between Trae and them when it comes to passing / playmaking is astronomical, well, then this just isn't a discussion. And yes, people will say that both of them are better defenders than Trae, but their defense just isn't impactful enough for it to make enough of a difference. When comparing Trae to guys like Jimmy and Tatum, again, I think that Trae's historical balance of scoring and running an offense is just a bit more valuable than, say, a guy like Tatum, who can score the ball with the best of them and can defend at a high level, but his playmaking / passing isn't anywhere near Trae's. And again, just like with Book and Mitchell, the scoring gap between Trae and Tatum at this point isn't as big as y'all would expect, as to me it's pretty non-existent, as Trae is averaging more points on better efficiency along with taking those deep threes and with more volume. But with Jimmy, it's different, as Jimmy is not only one of the best two-way players in the league, but he's also one of the best playmakers in the league. But what I think separates Trae from Jimmy is that he's a better scorer, and his shooting bends defenses in so many ways that it's just harder to game plan against Trae than it is against Jimmy. Just look at the Bucks series, where Jimmy got locked down and basically exposed for his lack of a perimeter game. Now, moving on to a guy like Chris Paul, who to me is playing like a fringe top 10 player in the league at 36, which is pretty insane. Well, I think at this stage of his career, Trae is just simply better. You can argue that Trae is just as good of a passer / playmaker as CP3, and where Trae separates himself is his scoring. Now moving into the top 10, I'd say there's 6 players who are undoubtedly better than Trae as of right now, whether it's accomplishments or longevity or just straight up talent. And those players would be Steph, LeBron, KD, Giannis, Jokic, and Kawhi. After that, it's up in the air. So to me, Trae is right in that 7 to 10 range. Now, players who are typically in that range are a mix of Harden, Dame, AD, and Luka. And out of those 4, I'm just going to say, I think Trae currently is better than Dame, Luka, AD, and Harden. When it comes to Luka, Dame, and Harden, they're all heliocentric offensive players, which basically means that the entire offense runs through them, And this season, Trae has just been outright better than them on offense. He's averaging more points than all of them on better efficiency across the board, and he's third in assists. And he's also flat out better than AD. I don't want to hear the two-way impact when the man cannot hit a jump shot to save his life. And even defensively, AD has been underperforming, but I will give him somewhat of a pass since the personnel on the Lakers isn't doing him any favors. And this just isn't me jumping the gun on Trae. I mean, people did this with Luka, where they called Luka, a top 5, top 7 player in the league in his sophomore season, for good reason. But Trae is playing amazing basketball, and so I'm doing the same thing with Trae. But yeah, that's where I rank Trae Young in the NBA today, right in that 7 to 10 range. My list is pretty messy, but I think y'all got the gist of it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and turn on your post notifications, and leave a comment down below, and I'll try to respond to it. But other than that, I hope y'all do have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.